Rise up, tap in. We consciously free. Rise up, tap in. It's domesticated me. We rise, we heal. We consciously be. No labels, just growth. Domesticated me. Journey talking all the walks, seeking mind, body, and soul alignment. Welcome to the space where we elevate. Journey talking all the walks, seeking mind, body, and soul alignment. Welcome to the space where we elevate. Rise up, tap in. We consciously free. Rise up, tap in. It's domesticated me.
And welcome in. Thank you for coming in. We love each other around here.
We
In the
consciously
room.
be.
Let's go.
No labels, just growth.
You can call me Chad.
Domesticated
Thank you for
me.
getting that light away.
Journey talking all
Getting that
the
light
walks,
on the
seeking
way
mind,
in.
body, and
And
soul
also, I love check this out.
Welcome to the space where we
Be here with
elevate.
me today.
Journey talking all the
Yes.
walks,
Let's
seeking mind,
go.
body, and soul alignment. Welcome to the space where we elevate. Yes. Tap in. We consciously free. Rise up. Tap in.
Because I'm going to be here for
It's
we
domesticated
for
me.
the
Tap in.
live stream. Having trouble, please connect to
We
internet.
consciously
What's
free.
going on, internet?
Rise up. Tap in. It's domesticated me.
I'm frozen. Y'all let me know because I might be frozen. If I'm frozen, y'all let me know. If I look a little grainy, let me know. Thank you for smashing that like button on the way in. Jazz, how about now? How about now, Jazz? The song sounds amazingly clear. The sound.
Rise up.
So I don't sound amazingly clear, but that does. Welcome. You're not frozen anymore, but the picture quality is usually better. Okay. No telling. No telling, like Barbara told Helen. I don't know what's going on with the picture quality. But it does look a little grainy. It looks a little grainy to me too. But I just want to go ahead and say welcome to Domesticated Me and welcome to the Stories That Stay With Us episode. The Story That Stays With Us episode. I'll be right back, y'all. Let me check something out. Okay, so I tried to check the internet just to see if we could get a better. Okay, now we have better quality. Um, I even see it looks better. I even see it looks better. So does it look better? And I sound clear? I don't know what's going on, y'all. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's the internet. I guess the internet is dragging. Maybe, because it's soccer here in LA. Maybe the internet is tripping because it's soccer here in LA. Um, so it could be that. Um, okay. I hope that when it comes back a much clearer. If not, then it might not be in for me to do this live. I think that it is though. Um, because there's so much I really wanted to talk about the Carmelo Anthony case. Um, I really wanted to talk about the Carmelo Anthony case because it is I first off want to say that it's a travesty that we didn't get to see what the jury saw. I think that's where a lot of the confusion is coming in at. Um, overall, I don't know why it's doing that. It probably got something to do about the soccer taking over. I'm telling you, because everybody using the internet to watch soccer, and and then it's a thousands people here at the stadium watching soccer. Soccer did this to us today, y'all. I bet you. I guarantee you it's soccer. Yeah, Jazz. I'm glad you're here. But if it don't do what it's supposed to do, where it looks clear, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna stay on where it looks like that. Because it doesn't make any sense. The only way, well, it would make sense if I turn my camera off and just talked, you know, because you can hear me clearly, right? So maybe we'll just turn the camera off, and then that way I won't feel like it looks so grainy if when people start coming in. So maybe this is the better ideal. So you guys, I really wanted to have a conversation about Carmelo Anthony. Before I have a conversation about that particular case, which is just polarized our recent internet and world, simply because there are two sides. It has become very racially charged. And I think it became racially charged from the beginning. So I'm not going to say that the racial part is new. I'm just going to say that to me, it just seems to have taken on several legs like an octopus, per se. So if you actually have heard about the case, drop a one in the chat. And if you're watching the replay of this broadcast, just go ahead and drop a two in the chat and say, hey, replay. And if you're new here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and Turn on your notification bell so that you know when I'm here. Yes, you can call me Jazz. That is the track meet story. Yes, it is. And so that we want to catch everybody up. Carlo Anthony was attending his local track meet, and there was other students there, of course, because it's a track meet. There was other schools there. There was even a rival school there, and he was under a rival school's tent, and he was asked to move by one of the rival team's students, and he refused to leave the tent. And there's different stories about the tent, depending on how you look at it. But being a former track runner in high school, I can definitely understand about the individual tents, and understand that even individual areas on the bleachers are normally reserved for teams. It doesn't have to be one of those things where it's standoffish or off limits. You can definitely talk to other people if you know them. So that's just one thing. But it's supposed to have been raining that day, and he's ducked under a tent. Well, no, you can call me Jazz. That's a mix up in information. And I'm going to tell you what that is, though. That he went under the tent to get from being wet. Now, where the mix up in what the coach said and did, the coach had asked them, because originally a coach had saw some students in the dugout. Now, this is different. The dugout and the tent is two different things, and told them that they could not be in the dugout. They could not be in there. That particular part of the school where they were having the track meet at was off limits. The coach asked him to leave from there. There was never a coach in the tent at the time that this incident happened, nor did a coach ever ask him to leave out of the tent. Those are two different places. When the coach asked the students that were in the dugout to leave, they left. Karmelo Anthony, some kind of way, ended up under the tent, and the tent was the other school's tent, and there were students, including the Metcalf boys. Right. They were saying there were students under the tent who asked him to leave multiple times. So it wasn't just the Metcalf, the young man that lost his life that day, which once again, I'll start off with, that was horrible. And no one can say that he deserved to lose his life. And I don't know that blacks are saying, he deserved to lose his life, more than saying that Karmelo Anthony deserved to defend himself. Now, what did he do? Should he have defended himself with lethal measures? I'm going to go ahead and say, I'm going to just be real. No, the shove was not worth what he got. And I get what a lot of people are saying, that these boys were bigger than him. There was more than one boy around him. He got scared, and that's why he, he didn't testify, first of all. So we don't really know what his side of the story is. But what we're saying, after hearing no evidence, most of us, and that's the problem with why the judge should have let this be some type of televised. I mean, he really should have, even if he was protecting the children in this case, he could have shielded their faces. There were all kind of things he should have done. This case got too much attention, and so now there's all kind of speculation and all kind of things out there. But apparently they were like jiving back and forth. They were throwing the dozens, so to speak, about the school. And as they were throwing the dozens to each other, it kept escalating. Like they were in like a dozen argument at, like, you suck, your team sucks, you did bad last year, and this, that, and the other thing. And then so the Metcalf boy is saying, hey, look, what are you doing here? Like, you need to leave. And supposedly, because we really don't know what he said, because once again, he didn't testify. I mean, we got what he said in his statement, but we don't got the full story. And so at the end of the day, he was supposedly said something about make me maybe, and then the next the next thing that happened after the make me was almost like uh another statement. This is why it don't make sense. Like the statements altogether don't kind of go together. But the Metcalf boy was saying something, and he may have said he didn't want to fight because Carlo Anthony said, "Touch me and see what happens." And basically, dared the Metcalf boy to touch him. The Metcalf boy either pushed him with one finger, shoved him, or picked him up and moved him like a linebacker, like picked him up and moved him back, like, kind of, pushed him forward like a linebacker's type move. So it was three of those, because all of those particular stories were conflicting according to what we were able to hear. There was one gentleman that was in the courthouse that reports on Court TV, and honestly, he's the one that I kind of feel is credible. I disagree with the popular opinion for the black people. To me, like, if you're saying it's race, black against, like, I feel as if Karmelo made a bad decision. I really do. And though my heart also bleeds for him, just like the other family, I believe that he just made a bad decision. And, I know that we don't want to do the cuff things, and he could have been very well scared. I don't believe he meant to transition anyone, though. And that's the part that I'm bothered by. The premeditated transitioning that he got charged with, I believe, was an overcharge. And I believe that although it didn't really fit the definition of self-defense to me, because a shove, a push, or anything like that, it doesn't really warrant the stand your ground and I'm just gonna, but I don't believe he meant to do it. So the premeditation to me is one that I believe he shouldn't have been charged with. I believe he should have been charged appropriately. And had he been charged appropriately, maybe the 35-year sentence, which I also believe is kind of outrageous, guys. I'm going to be honest, for him. And only reason why I say it's kind of outrageous is it's kind of like twofold. The kid didn't have a criminal record. The kid was seemingly a good kid. And that in itself should have allowed him a lesser sentence, because the judge could have sentenced him anywhere from, I believe, 2 to 99 or something like that. It does. I don't think it meets the definition. You can call me Jazz. I don't think it meets the definition of self-defense at all. I really don't. I think that he made a bad mistake. And if he could have, I guess you can look at it both ways. Who wants to end up in a poodle and a dog fight? Because that's basically what they're pinning Karmelo Anthony out to be, a poodle against two pit bulls. He was a smaller kid. These are two kids who were bigger. The jury gets to hear none of this thing where they're supposedly been suspended from school. They're known bullies. Of course, they're not going to hear any of that stuff. It would have been different. But this is why I think that it was overcharged, is because the prosecution knew about those things. And the prosecution knew Karmelo Anthony's record too. So in that, I believe that they could have properly charged him based on what Karmelo Anthony felt and said he felt, which was threatened. But once again, when you're into some type of conflict, you reap the consequences. Hey, Miss Nia, welcome. You reap the consequences of your actions, because he didn't even have to really have anything in his hand. He could have, bolted and knocked one of the Metcalf boy down. He could have hit his head, and it could have been the same result, right? So let's talk about it, Jazz. I myself was bullied in school, and a line has to be drawn on how you react. Okay, so are you saying that a line has to be drawn for how you react to the bully? As far as you got to learn how to walk away, you got to learn how to not continue to agitate them because they're the bullies. Because I've never been able to be a bully, y'all. You know, people that know me know I was known as the finisher. So, but in the same token, yes, emotional intelligence. And I think that, and I'm going to get to this. I really want to get to this about the jury. And I know, and this kind of leads into it. It is dependent on the era you was raised in, right? Because y'all heard me tell the story once before, how my grandmama told me there is fight and flight people. That is the two things. And you got people that are going to fight, and you got people that are going to flight. And we are not runners. So I was taught to defend myself at all costs. I could have literally, if this same kind of thing was happening, I could have literally been caught up in something like this just from really feeling animosity. I think that is one of the reasons why I can kind of relate to putting myself in Casey Anthony's shoes in that. I mean, not Casey, I'm sorry. Karmelo Anthony's shoes in that case, because I would have defended myself too, but I don't know that he was defending himself. I really have another theory. And my theory is he was scared shitless and he was running, but he pulled the knife out and ran into him and didn't expect for it to end as bad as it ended. That is my theory, y'all. Like, period. My theory is he never was going to fight that big boy. When he grabbed him, that is when he got scared. He wasn't scared while he was talking junk. While he was shooting the dozens, he was not scared at that point at all. There was an argument that was basically a shooting the dozens argument that increasingly got worse. The Metcalf boy wanted him out. He said, touch me and you'll see, because supposedly, this is why I believe the story about the Metcalf boy saying, I'm going to kick your ass. I believe that one, because why would Karmelo say, touch me and you'll see what happens? That is the only logical thing that makes sense. There's another testimony that says he said, I don't want to fight. That doesn't really make sense for Karmelo Anthony's, hey, Nay, for Karmelo Anthony to respond with touch me and you'll see. That just doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm just using common sense. I don't know which is right, because Karmelo Anthony, once again, did not take the stand. Why? I don't know. Even though that cannot be used against you, everybody knows when you don't take the stand in your own defense, people are looking at you like you did it. So there's no way my son, whatever reason he did, would I have not employed him to get up there, especially if I truly believe that, and these parents truly believe that it was self-defense. I would have said, baby, get up there. What can you do? You got to go up there and you got to tell your own story to these people, not what you told the law enforcement or nothing. You got to go up there and tell your own story to these people so they can see why you might have been scared for your life. We don't even know why, beyond what he said the next day was that he was defending himself, or that day that he was defending himself. Hey, Miss Nia's daughter. How are you, love? And so, okay, so let's get back really shortly to the jury part. That's another part I want to talk about. Now, the presumption is that you will be um the jury that you're being judged by will be that of your peers. What do you guys really think of that? Like, what is a jury of your peer? What should the makeup of the jury looks like, right? There are some out there reporting that the jury were all like in their 50s and 60s. And I'm going to go to that because for some reason, I think the age gap is a little bit more important than the racial gap. And I'm not going to say that race doesn't play a part in most of the things that happen as far as convictions go. Right? I'm not going to say that because a lot of times the whole 35 years is outrageous. If you kill somebody, if you transition somebody that looked exactly like you from the neighborhood, you can get a 15-year sentence and be back on the street to do it again. That's just another thought process of mine. I think is crazy. But hey, apples and oranges, I suppose. But the way I believe that he couldn't have got a fair trial simply on the jury makeup. One, it was there were no blacks on the jury. There were people of color. They named them maybe an Asian, maybe a Hispanic of some type of descent, and someone else that identified as a person of color but not of black. So whatever that could have been, Indian, I don't know. So that's one of the other ones. But to me, I feel the age, because they said that there were X amount of older Caucasian women sitting as a jury of his peers. I would have to go ahead and say no. And I would think that these, if they were going to be Caucasian, they needed to be in a younger age bracket, simply because the closer you are to the age bracket, you kind of understand things. You put me on a trial, and maybe I'm thinking like, why didn't you just fight? Because you hear a lot of people saying that, y'all. Why wouldn't you just fight? Didn't matter how big they are. You see what David did to Goliath? Man, I'm telling you, y'all, I was 95. I was 95 pounds wet, and no one ever scared me. I didn't carry around a weapon at all. So in my head, I might have been like, you should have just chunked them with them. You should have just got them up. Why would you decide to pull out anything? But these kids ain't made like how we was. They don't even know how to drink out of the water hose. Come on now. These kids do not know how to drink out of the water hose. They can't fall and skin their knees, some of them. They've been desensitized by these videos and things of that nature. Who knows? So that cannot be a jury of his peers because of the way we think. There are probably so many kids walking around with weapons way more than before than you would never believe. You know what? I'm not going to lie. These kids is wusses. They because what do? They pulling out weapons every chance they get. And it don't matter what color they are per se. And we kind of learned that in the Rick Chow court case we talked about the other day. There were 8 blacks on that, and they still acquitted him. So it didn't matter. I guarantee you, we see their age, that might matter. The age might matter. They're so they don't even know what being gangsters are. I had told my relative the other day, he was telling me that one of my little relatives boyfriend say he from this gang, right? I say he don't even know what that is. He don't even know. They done twisted it. They done twisted it. And then it's just it and I want to repeat again. If you're watching the replay, I just want to repeat again, guys, one more time, that to me, both of the families, this should be devastating. And people on the internet that is sending them these foul messages and treating them as such, y'all should really stop. Y'all really should. And so the dad spoke out. Jeff Metcalf is his name, y'all. I was listening to his interview. He had me, y'all. He had me locked and centered. He said that he forgave Karmelo Anthony, that he, all of these things, that he was a Christian, that he went to the press conference to pray. He was trying to hand out a olive branch to the Anthony family, and they wouldn't accept it. And then, y'all, he said one thing, and I said, okay, he lost me. He said, Charlie Kirk, he admired Charlie Kirk. That's when I checked out. When he said that, that's why I said, oh, this is about to go bad. I was like, you should have stopped when you was ahead. This is about to go bad. You done said that, you done mentioned the wrong name. You done said all of that stuff on how you believe in equality and how you have all of these friends that are of all kind of diverse cultures and how you're this and how you're that. And then you mentioned being associated with Charlie Kirk as saying that you admire him. Those two things do not go together. That's what I said, because he talked a lot of hate speech about different people, about different cultures. And so to me, to that, he was a separatist. And so, no. And so I knew it was coming. Then he went on a racist rant, y'all. He went on a racist rant. He said Karmelo, and I'm hoping that this ain't no type of AI, y'all, because they said that the judge and the Metcalf and the DA was all buddies, but the judge came on to say that that was a photoshopped photo, that they are not friends. He doesn't even know them. I don't know if that's true, but he said it is a Photoshop photo. That's not true. So now these videos have came out from an interview after the gag order was lifted that the dad did, Jeff Metcalf, and he's saying that Karmelo's new name should be Watermelon Felon. He was saying you people and all of that. Y'all, he was saying you people and all of that stuff, all of the trigger words. So I was like, okay, so you are racist, and you are predicating to the racist because of what you're saying. Well, stuff that happened to y'all 400 years ago, you people get over. Like I'm like, is this for real? Or is this some type of AI that has created this on this man? Because you can't believe half the stuff you hear on here. If you hear me or you're watching this, when it comes to these sensitive subjects, you really got to say allegedly, because more than likely it is. Your grandmother told you, my grandmother told me, right? Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see. And now it is just like this. Believe none of what you see and none of what you hear, because it can all be manufactured. The voice, everything spliced and diced, have you saying things that you didn't say. All of that stuff can be done, every last bit of it. And a lot of the stuff that is being done is to incite our communities, y'all. And that is why I say, let's talk community healing, right? Because it's to incite our communities. Because some of the stuff we're hearing is that they jumped him. We don't know if that's true or not. They're saying that some of the kids that testified are also being bullied to say what they said. They're scared They're not going to tell the truth. We don't really know any of this to be true, but it is attacking our communities. That's what I do know. Because it's nowhere in a public record that we can see that will show us anything that will help us with this case. So how as a community do we heal? How as a community do we heal? That's the question on the table.
Rise up, tap in. It's domesticated me. We rise, we heal, we consciously be. No labels, just growth. Domesticated me. Journey talking all the walks, seeking mind, body, and soul alignment. Welcome to the space where we elevate. Journey talking all the walks, seeking mind, body, and soul alignment. Welcome to the space where we elevate. Rise up, tap in. We consciously free. Rise up, tap in. It's domesticating me.
Rise up, tap in. I had to play that song for Nia because Nia came in a little late and I know she loves the theme song. So I said, let me give her a little taste while I take a little cool break. Rise up, tap in. Domesticating Me is all about encouragement, motivation, and inspiring others. And even in these tough conversations, we want to allow people to understand that you're not alone and healing can be a group effort. So welcome to the space where we elevate. Just tap in with us. If you are new here, go ahead and follow us so that we can continue to bring you this wonderful content. Make sure that you invite a friend to come in. You like the content, there is someone else that does too. And turn your notification bells on so that you can know when I'm live. And this video will go up in its entirety, bloopers and all. So you can also hype the video for me out there. Thank you so much. Now, how do we heal? And what happens when our communities have two cases, not one, but two shocking cases that have closed out within days of each other, right? Ricky Chow, to catch you up a little bit on that, was the convenience store owner who chased down a 14-year-old young man by the name of Cyrus and transitioned him by firing on him in the back. He claimed self-defense of others because he said that his son was in fear for his life. This is what makes us think like, wow, the justice system is crazy. You can actually chase down a young man and get acquitted because you were in defense of another person. Well, the jury acquitted him because this young man had fire too. And I believe that is why he was convicted. I would love to see the age makeup of that jury too. I really would. Um, just to see if my theory kind of bounces off, because I'm sure that there was a jury of his peers. There was a jury of Rick Chow's peers. They were probably within his same age range. They weren't younger. They didn't understand maybe the necessity for a 14-year-old boy to be carrying around a handgun. They all are. You know, the necessity. Why did he need fire? What did he need it for? He was only 14. Well, these streets is deadly. And so I believe that that is it. And if the jury would have been a jury of the victim's peers, I think that child probably would have went down, y'all. And I don't know the ages of them either, but if their ages was anywhere 40 and above, for most of the jurors, no one else standing a chance in there. Not for understanding today's world, you know, or anything. Because one of the things back in my day was they told us not to run from bullies. If you're in here, go ahead and tell us you're in here and say where you're where you're in here from. Was that if you ran from a bully, you're going to keep running all year long. That's what I was taught. If you ran from bullies, you were going to keep running all day long. And after that rant that Jeff Metcalf had, it is very, allegedly, for real, but it is very allegedly that his kids had some type of bullying within them. He's a bully, you could tell by the way he was talking. Jersey in the house. Yeah, he's a he's a bully. You could tell by the way he was talking and the things he was saying. If that video that came out, them bites of the interview that came out is not AI, if that is not AI, oh my God. And if it is, Jeff Metcalf, you should not have went online trying to say nothing, because you already saw what online did. You should have left online alone. You should have made your statement in that courtroom and left it at that. Because coming on here to call different people names and make up these names and say you want to go viral by making up this watermelon felon name and talking about the people that was reporting on this case and what have you not, and talking about you people. If that stuff is real, you should not have done that, bro. You should not have done that. And it kind of all seemed like a setup, though, y'all. To me, I ain't gonna lie, because he was going good, and then all of a sudden he mentioned that Charlie Kirk, he admired him. That's when it went left. I was like, huh? You said all of that nice stuff. You said all of that stuff that makes somebody want to be like, wow, you truly have forgiven this boy. And then you flipped the whole script and came out with a name for him and all of it. No, you have not. Talking about you didn't walk on, you can't walk on water and you could turn into wine and all of that. What happened? What happened? That is that is really what I want to know. I really want to know what happened. In my heart of hearts, I really want to know if it's AI or not. That's how nosy I am. Is it AI? Or is this something that this man really did go out there and say? Because the first part of the interview was so gentle. And then he flipped the script. And it's supposedly 3 hours. How can you sit there and have a 3-hour interview with an internet news show about anything, as a matter of fact? Give people a whole bunch of stuff to do sound bites on you. I don't know, but I don't know, but that's where he lost me at. I was like, okay, you should have stopped right there and not opened up your mouth no more. That's really how I felt in that. Well, once again, guys, how do we heal the community? Heal the community. And every time we come up with one of these cases, we have to start really looking at these cases for what they are. They all are not lumped up into one. They all are not Floyd. They all aren't Trayvon Martin. These particular things cannot all be lumped together like that. The injustice of what happens and how we're dealing with these cases, we need to figure something out, y'all. For the love of people, of community. I'm going to start with definitely, if people ain't treating you right, don't shop at their stores. You see so many of that now up where this happened and that happens and this happened. So if you're videotaping so that you can get the word out, that's one thing. But if you're videotaping and then the next day you end up in that same store, you're videotaping for what? Stay out of there. That's kind of how I see it. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for being here with me tonight. That's all I really had. I wanted to talk community. I wanted some people to come up and talk with me and all of that. But we don't have nobody in here. Well, we do have somebody's in here. The somebodies that are in here is shout out. You can call me Jazz and Miss Nia Jackson. Those are my friends. They come through to support me every time I'm live. And so there is somebody in here. You know, but we want friends to have more conversations with because these are the stories that stick with us. And we want you to be part of the story too. These are the stories that stay with us. How you do? Nia, I said, how you do? Nia, you can't look. Don't you dare laugh. I'm gonna play another theme song, another version of the theme song, y'all. Listen up.
Rise up, tapping, we consciously free. Rise up, tapping, it's domesticated me. Rise up, tapping, we consciously free. Rise up, tapping, it's domesticated me. We rise, we heal, we consciously be.
Don't forget to smash that like button. And guess what? Go ahead if you're new here and subscribe to the channel. Turn your notification bells on so you'll know that when I'm live. And if you're catching a replay, go ahead and hype this video up. Thank you so much for coming here today. And I'll see y'all the next time. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your day, inspire, motivate, and encourage you.
Rise up, tapping, we consciously free. Rise up, tapping, it's domesticated me. Rise up, tapping, we consciously free. Rise up, tapping, it's domesticated me. We rise, we heal, we consciously be. No labels, just growth. Domesticated me. Journey, talk, and all the walk, seeking mind, body and soul alignment. Welcome to the space where we elevate.